Jada Pinkett Smith and Will Smith. What is their future? Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. There has been much speculation about the nature of the relationship between Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith for years, and this has only intensified following the event known as the Oscars slap. However, there is now a consideration as to what lies in wait for them in terms of their future. Fortunately for you, I'm able to explain to you what the options are in terms of what will happen and what the most likely outcome is. How am I able to do this? Well, quite simply, it's because I have assessed what Will Smith is and what Jada Pinkett Smith is. If you haven't already listened to the series, Will Smith, what is he? And Jada Pinkett Smith, what is she? And you don't want to know yet, pause this video, go and listen to those series and comes back in order to avoid potential spoilers. For the rest of you, we shall continue. Having undertaken a detailed consideration of the evidence, I have established that Will Smith is an empath and Jada Pinkett Smith is a narcissist. That enables us to then understand the nature of the relationship between the two, the behaviours that they will engage in, and the current dynamic. And I've explained that in the recent video, Jada Pinkett Smith and Will Smith, what is their dynamic? But it also enables us to understand what's going to happen next. When there is the dynamic between a narcissist and an intimate partner primary source, then in terms of where the relationship goes to, there are only ever three outcomes. The first is this. The empath escapes the narcissist. The empath, having had enough of the way that they're being abused, having had enough of being cheated on, having their money taken, being told that they're worthless, being triangulated with people, whatever it might be, reaches the end of their tether, and they leave. That is the escape. This is the least likely of outcomes in the dynamic between the narcissist and the intimate partner primary source. The reason being, first of all, the narcissist does not want to lose that intimate partner primary source because they are the best provider of the prime aims. They are, if you will, the major fuel line coming in. And if you could imagine, if a country has several different fuel lines providing it with all of its power needs, the largest one, if that's lost, will cause a massive problem to that country. And therefore, that's the pipeline, that's the energy source that will be defended to the hilt. The narcissist is no different. Although the narcissist, of course, abuses that victim, running the risk of the victim walking and escaping, invariably this does not happen because the narcissist will instinctively recognize that the victim might be teetering on the brink of departure, or the victim even stays. I'm thinking of leaving, or if things don't improve, I'll leave. And the narcissist uses what's known as a preventative hoover to stop that from happening. Furthermore, most victims don't go because they're held in place by their addiction to the narcissist and the emotional thinking that goes with it. They invariably think that they've done something wrong, and therefore they seek to remedy that. That they think, well, we once had a wonderful time, we can get back to that. And therefore their various empathic and narcissistic traits are corrupted by their emotional thinking to keep them in situ. They operate by thinking, I can heal and fix these problems. Love will save the day. Love will conquer all. Love is all you need. Their love devotee trait being corrupted. Pride and vanity plays a part, that they don't want to lose this person that they are in love with. Accordingly, a combination of the manipulations of the narcissist and the inherent emotional thinking of the victim means that escape is unusual, but it does happen. And of course, the more people that come across my work, the more that will be motivated to escape and to do it promptly and, more importantly, in an effective fashion. So one potential outcome for Will Smith is he escapes. The next outcome is that Jada Pinkett Smith gets rid of him. This is known as disengagement. Some people use the term discard. I prefer disengagement. She ends the relationship. There are numerous reasons why that might happen, and if you'd like to know what they are, you can listen to my video, The 5 Reasons the Narcissist Disengages from You, or The 5 Reasons the Narcissist Leaves You. And I go into detail as to what all of that means. But briefly, the 5 reasons are: the narcissist replaces you with somebody else, you cause extensive wounding to the narcissist, or you cause extensive exposure of the narcissist's behavior to third parties, or you break down as appliance, or the narcissist essentially finds that you're too difficult to control. In essence, you've seen through what the narcissist is, and the narcissist senses that. Those are the 5 reasons. You're swapped for somebody else, you cause massive wounding to the narcissist, you cause massive exposure, you break down, or you become too difficult to control, having essentially seen through the narcissist. Accordingly, in those circumstances, the narcissist disengages from the victim. The relationship is brought to an end. The narcissist leaves or kicks the victim out. They tell them it's over. This is the most common outcome of the dynamic between the narcissist and the victim. The narcissist has to have that control, and basically, because the narcissist decides that it's over, the narcissist still has that control. Of course, of those 5 options that cause disengagement, the situation where the narcissist swaps you for someone else is the one that the narcissist essentially prefers, because they make that determination based upon their needs. The other instances are predicated more on an emergency basis, that the narcissist has to react to what you've done and might not have a replacement ready in the circumstances where, for instance, you might have broken down or caused massive wounding. That's more problematic for the narcissist. Sometimes that your replacement was being cultivated and was almost at the point of maturity or fruition, so the swapping doesn't pose any major problems. You are dropped, disengaged from, because you cause massive wounding, and the narcissist puts in some extra effort with the person they were cultivating to speed up their appointment. Sometimes the narcissist is some way off from that, and it might result in a panic pick taking place, a sudden escalation with regard to that person, or the narcissist has to go and find someone completely new and afresh. Leaving all of that, however, to one side, it is the most common outcome, and therefore that is a potential scenario with regard to Jada Pinkett Smith and Will Smith, that basically she concludes the relationship. The third option is essentially that the relationship continues until one of the parties shuffles off this mortal coil, i.e. dies. And that is the second most common outcome. Basically, the victim never escapes, there's no disengagement trigger. Sure, the narcissist will be devaluing that victim, but it doesn't come to the point whereby the disengagement trigger occurs or the victim escapes, and therefore the relationship goes on for years. And that is why you can see some relationships that go on for decades. Indeed, the relationship of Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith has endured for something like 22 years already, the majority of which has been a sustained devaluation. And that's because he's not escaped and the relevant disengagement trigger has not occurred for her to get rid of him. So the 3 potential outcomes are escape, disengagement, or neither of those things, and the relationship just continues on its roller coaster way. What is the most likely outcome for Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith? Well, first of all, will he escape? I see that as continuing to be unlikely. He is very much in her grip. We only have to see the way that he's behaved recently to see the extent of her control over him. He's blinded by his emotional thinking, and notwithstanding the involvement of, it would appear, therapists so far, they haven't put him onto the concept of who he's dealing with, and more importantly, what he should be doing about that. I very much doubt that Will's going to suddenly wake up of his own volition, and he'll need intervention of some sort. Intervention is invariably difficult because of the nature of the embedded victim and their emotional thinking that they just don't want to see. They can't face up to what it is. And it might take a major act of devaluation to jolt him out of the rut that he finds himself in. But I don't see that happening very soon. Given the nature of the devaluations that he's already experienced, basically his wife cheating on him, although she just refers to it as an entanglement, the humiliation that she's imposed upon him, where she's actually broadcast her devaluation of him in the Red Table Talk, Will Smith has been the proverbial punch bag, has been soaking up the abuse, and is still there. So I don't see escape as imminent. What about disengagement? There's a possibility he could break down, which would result in disengagement, but he's endured 20 years' worth so far, and is showing a good degree of resilience. And he clings on. Boy, does he cling on. And therefore, I don't necessarily see that he's going to break down, but that is a possibility. I don't see that he's going to cause any massive wounding to her. I don't see that he's going to cause any massive exposure. And I don't see that he's necessarily going to see through her as to what she might be, so that he becomes more difficult to control. The only other option, of course, with disengagement is that she swaps him for somebody else. I don't see her doing that. Why? I think she'll be hard-pressed to find somebody that caters to the prime aims as well as he does. Namely, someone she can control as easy as she can control him, someone who provides so much fuel. You see for yourself how emotional he gets. The level of character traits and residual benefits are huge with him. And therefore, she would have to go some. And the dalliance that she had with young August shows that he was a poor comparison, and that's why his status remained his intimate partner secondary source. She didn't swap Will for him. The relationship with Will endured as she engaged in the commission of infidelity, irrespective of what she actually says it was. Accordingly, although it's a possibility that she might meet somebody else through infidelity and then instinctively decide that it's time to swap Will for that person, the fact is, I don't see that happening anytime soon because of how well Will Smith caters for the position of intimate partner primary source. Therefore, the most likely outcome of the three is that this situation continues. Unless somebody intervenes and basically slaps Will Smith around the face with a frozen cod of logic to wake him up, this roller coaster that he strapped himself to is going to continue. She's unlikely to get rid of him, he's unlikely to escape, and the most likely outcome is that this is just going to go on and on and on. His status of the type of empath that he is supports that, and the fact that he's endured 22 years already is demonstrative of how much he clings on to this relationship, and therefore escape is highly unlikely for him. She is onto such a good thing, and her narcissism recognizes that. Sure, she'll abuse him, and the risk factor for her is that her abuse pushes him over the edge into breakdown, which then forces disengagement. So of the disengagement options, although I don't see it as one that's going to be probable, it's possible that he suffers a breakdown and that causes engagement. But overall, my analysis of the situation, understanding and knowing that he is an empath and that she is a narcissist, is that the roller coaster ride is going to continue, that he will be in a period of sustained devaluation and golden period, until one of them dies. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.